So I said I'd do a personal update. So this will be it. I already tried to record this video and then some guy came around to like change our boiler or something, and so I had to kind of answer that. Obviously I had that situation with my dad, and it was really distressing and horrible. So after 2 weeks of us not talking, he didn't talk to me, but like it was me not talking to him for obvious reasons. I wrote him a 9-page Word document and outlining like what my illness is, what it's like being in the depths of anorexia, what the recovery process is like, both physically and mentally. And also talking about his email and how it made me feel and how it was wrong and stuff like that. So yeah, I gave that to him. I left it on the kitchen dining table and kind of left it there, and he read it and sent me an email the next morning, which I'll read out to you because it's not too personal or anything, so and it's positive. So he said, thank you for your letter. I read it this morning and believe me, I've taken it all in. I look back on the email I sent and feel ashamed that I got it so wrong. I'm very anxious about how badly I hurt you and can only hope that somehow I can repair some of the huge damage caused. Your letter was an eloquent and highly informative insight into your condition. It helped me to understand better your problems and has strengthened my resolve to support you in any way that I can. It has provided me with a much clearer picture of who you are now, a strong and resourceful character fighting a very long battle. As regards your averageness, you clearly are not, I've said it before. But if you look at what you've achieved in fighting this condition and the way that you have done it, it is remarkable. And your letter is written so well. You always had a great talent for writing. Maybe you should pursue it, Dad. P.S. I don't want you to change. So that was positive. And then after that, a couple of days later, he came and asked me if it was okay to talk to me. So I said yeah, and after dinner we had a 2-hour conversation, and it went really well. He said that he was wrong and he'd obviously grown lazy in forgetting what it's like when I was ill. He said it's easy to forget what it's like when I was really sick because I've been physically healthy for so long. And he said that my letter explained a lot of things to him that he'd been wondering about, we talked about like a lot of things. He also said that he felt that I hadn't previously wanted to engage with him about it, but I said at the end of the day he had 10 years to come and talk to me and ask me anything that he wanted to know about it. He mentioned a point in time where it was clear that I didn't want to accept any help from him, and this was to do with a breakup ages and ages ago rather than anything to do with my eating disorder. But I pointed out that was 6 years ago, and he, even if he felt rejected then, he should have come and talked to me about this because it's more important to overcome that feeling of me not wanting to talk to him and just ask me about it, because I would definitely have been happy to talk to him about it. I mean, I've sent emails about it and kind of tried to open up the discussion that way. He hasn't really helped himself either by the fact that he has exploded in the past about things to do with like when I was in recovery. He made certain comments about some foods and I reacted to it negatively because I was in the early stages of recovery, and I ended up crying and he ended up shouting that he shouldn't tread on eggshells around me and he shouldn't change his behaviour just because I have an eating disorder, which he has taken back. He said that obviously he does need to approach that issue differently to how you would like when someone is ill, mentally or physically. You do treat them, not treat them differently as in like in a negative way, but you are sensitive around certain subjects, you know, stuff like that. You can't just act like everything's normal when it's not. But yeah, he accepted that, and that was fine, and we talked a lot about things, and he said that obviously his perception of me was wrong, and the perception of my behaviours in regarding food, and his perception of my body, and yeah. So yeah, I get, you know, it was a very positive talk. And we went for a long walk the next day and just, you know, talked about other things. And we're now talking again normally, but he asked me if there was anything I wanted him to do, and I said that I wanted him to continue reading Brave Girl Eating, which he is, and he also said he would read Wasted by Mary Hornbacher afterwards, which I don't recommend reading if you're easily triggered. It's just that it's really, really well written, and it accurately describes the inside of the mind of an anorexic, so I wanted him to read it so he could understand more so. And I've also sent him an email with relevant links to stuff, like stuff from Eurytopia, but also from other sites and stuff to do with recovery and eating disorders and stuff like that, so he has more information on them. So yeah, and I did say at the bottom of the email, which I sent today, that although we're talking normally again, he has to realise that, you know, even though he wants to just forget that he sent it and just say like, I was wrong, let's just forget about it, pretend it never happened. Like, I know that he obviously wants that because he doesn't want to remember that he did something really shitty and said shitty things. But I said that at the end of the day, like, it's not that easy for me. Him just saying that he was wrong doesn't stop me thinking about everything that he said and make me feel really bad. So, I mean, I had a big moment of like determination where I was like really positive and being, I don't know, I just realised how I felt so defiant, angry and hurt at my dad for saying the things he did, and I realised that I couldn't let my eating disorder get away with saying those types of things if I wasn't going to let my dad get away with it. So I became really determined to kind of fight that voice and accept my body how it is, and that, you know, after my 1 week relapse in response to what my dad said, I realised I never want to relapse, and so I don't ever want to be ill again, and that's great. And I made like a lot of positive headway there, realising that I never want to be sick again. I was thinking about being ill, and usually, you know, in your head, like a lot of people, well, most people with eating disorders think about like being hospitalised and going inpatient, and people who haven't kind of glamorize that. And I mean, not glamorize, but like that's where they want to be. Their eating disorder says you're not sick enough until you've been hospitalised or you've been inpatient. And I've always thought about that. Even in recovery, when I think about being hospitalised, I have always wanted to be hospitalised. And someone who hasn't had an eating disorder won't understand that, but I'm guessing most of you will. And then I suddenly realised, I thought about it, and I suddenly realised that I don't want to be hospitalised and I don't want to be inpatient. I don't want to be so sick that I'm not, you know, I can't do anything at all and live my life, and I'm actually on my deathbed. Like, it suddenly doesn't interest me. I want to be out there doing stuff like writing and reading, watching movies, hanging out with my friends, you know, and just all the things that life has to offer. I don't want to be lying in a hospital bed being drip fed. Like, yeah, my anorexia would be like, oh yeah, now you're sick enough. No, it's saying that to me. It said that to me before, but I know that if I was lying in a hospital bed being drip fed, my eating disorder would still say you're not sick enough. Like, you can never win until you're dead with an eating disorder. So I don't know, it just doesn't interest me anymore. So that's great. And I also stopped counting calories, and I stopped weighing my foods for the counting of calories, because it's about time. I was clinging on to that for so long, because it was my last bit of control. And well, my eating disorder's last bit of control, it was hanging on with that behaviour or those behaviours. And so I deleted my FitnessPal, and I am no longer logging or tracking my calories. So that's good. So those are all positives. Positives. So, but at the same time, I'm really struggling with body image. I really, really am. I go between being really determined and confident about carrying on, like recovering and stuff. I mean, obviously I'm not going to relapse. I mean, I just feel really like good about it, and then other times I'm feeling really, really bad about my body. And those things that my dad said, like, are going around on my mind as well, and other negative things that people have said in the past, and stuff that my eating disorder is saying to me, stuff that I'm saying to myself. It's just like, it's kind of exhausting. But luckily I am having these horrible thoughts being broken up by positive determination as well. So it's a bit up and down at the moment, like quite drastically so. But you know, it's still good. I'm not allowing any bad eating disorder habits to come back in again. I've obviously let go of the ones that were hanging on. It's just the really negative thoughts and the not being able to accept my body how it is at the moment. But yeah, trying really hard. So yeah, just, I mean, it's not helping that I'm back in Manchester for university. Luckily, I've only got 2 months left here, and then I'm gone for good back home. This atmosphere and environment is just not good for me. It's, you know, it's like grey all the time. It's grey concrete. It's just, I need green. I need countryside. It makes me feel more free and happy. So being back in Manchester isn't helping my mood at all, but that's not for too long. So yeah, I hope you can't hear my chair creaking. It like keeps creaking. Yeah, so tonight I'm going out for my friend's birthday to an Italian restaurant, and I'm gonna eat loads, and then I'm gonna get cocktails afterwards, and it's gonna be fun. So I'm gonna enjoy that. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, anyway, I hope you guys are doing good. You know, as I said, it's up and down for me, but mainly positive because I'm not going backwards at all, and I have moved forward at least a bit. I mean, actually a lot. The calorie counting I've done for years and years and years, and I thought I was never going to be able to let go of it, and just then suddenly I have. So that's good for now. So yeah, yeah, this is my personal update. So yeah, I hope everybody else is doing really well. I hope you're fighting the battle and winning, and yeah, you guys are really, really strong, and I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will speak to you soon.